Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the We're Going 5 podcast powered by TSH Tennis. We are so lucky to have a special guest here for a very nice interview conversation with us. He is former world number 39 in singles, number 15 in doubles, won eight ATP doubles titles, won singles titles. He's founded the Good to Great Academy. He's been coaching elite players like Grigor Dimitrov, Gael Monfils, Stan Wawrinka, and recently Denis Shapovalov. So welcome, Mikael Tillström, to the pod.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Welcome, Michael. We're really happy to have you, and so thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Michael, maybe let's start here because we always have this question regarding former players who turn into coaches. And you've experienced life as a top tennis player, and now you're coaching top pros. So which gives you more enjoyment or satisfaction? Is it playing at the top level or coaching at the top level?
I think, unfortunately, I probably didn't enjoy my own career as much as I maybe would have later in the career. My career ended already when I was 28 with the back injury. So I felt that obviously tennis was my dream, tennis was my life, but it's also all this pressure, all this work that you do. So it's sometimes really hard to enjoy it, unfortunately. So in that sense, also getting older and understanding life better, and you still get the same thrill of good match wins and also the deep sadness of losing tough matches, of course. But I think in a way you enjoy it more because you realize you are actually doing for work what you love the most.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're enjoying the coaching actually more then.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Michael, I wanted to ask you more like who are your coaching role models?
Oh, I guess there are so many. I think it comes from learning, and coaches you had yourself, players you had the opportunity to work with all through the years. And my coaching career started right away after I had to quit my own career. So I took on this young Swedish talent, Vinci Guerra, and I was also coaching Magnus Norman on his later stages of his career. That started with Thomas Enquist. And already then, of course, back then I was more looking at the coaches I had growing up, but then learning from each and every player how it's not just one way to do this. You have to adopt, and so I in the end I feel I probably learn from people around me, not only coaches, but in life in general, teach me how to deal with performance and how to make a player feel good and perform at his or her best. And so that's why you can never stop learning, because we learn from everywhere we go how to be towards our athletes.
That's amazing. So it extends beyond tennis. So it's like you try to take inspiration from wherever.
Yeah, for me, I don't coach.
That's amazing.
I don't coach a player. I coach a person.
Yeah. Okay. So that can you talk more about your like coaching philosophy and your personality as a coach, because that's very interesting that you say.
No, it starts with building the trust. For me, it's all about the trust, and that's why stepping into a new coaching relationship also always starts by listening and understanding. Then I can have my views and the vision where I want to take this, but I first need to understand and get the trust of how to get this player there. And then I need to feel the person in, and then we can start doing the real work together, because then we are aligned in all the goals, how to get there, what is important for this player, timing, when to say things, how to say things, all these things. So it's really a relationship that you build, and you not only build it on the tennis court. For me, it's very hard to coach someone if I never spend time with them off court, and I need the more time I get with the player, the more I understand, then the less time I need with him or her.
That's quite fascinating because personally I always felt like these coaches, they must know so much tactics and so much strategy, and that's what makes them so much better. But it's actually about the relationship, as you say, and it makes me excited. Like I wish I would have had a coach like you when I was growing up. It felt like somebody wants to understand me, wants to build trust, because sometimes it feels like a one way. But I guess that's what stands out to what makes you an elite coach. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Well, Coach, building on this exact point that you're talking about, you said building relationships and building the trust, and that takes time. So if you're a coach you're starting out a new challenge right now, let's say, for example, right now with Denis Shapovalov, how long does it take for you to build that trust? Do you think I need, for example, you give me 6 months and then let's start talking, or how does it work with you?
No, I mean, also now we are a bit fortunate because already last year when I was with Gael, Dennis and his team reached out to me and asked if I could be part of their team and working as a mentor with him and his coach that he was traveling mainly with. And Gael was open to for me to do that because also Dennis spent some time in Stockholm. His fiancée is from Stockholm and they're getting married in a few months. And so he would come to visit the academy from now and then. So I started this, relationship, so to say, already back in August last year. So, and we've been spending quite some time both on and off court since then. But first now, I'm actually going to be the traveling coach for him as well. So no, yes, of course, it otherwise takes time, and starting with the Grand Slam would be maybe tough in certain ways. But we come from a history where we spent quite a lot of time, and we had a vision already back then what to work with, how to do things. So there was not, we could actually start working right away, more hands-on, leading into this tournament.
So it was a smooth transition into the position you're in now.
Yes, because otherwise it is, let's say I only would have spent 2 days with Dennis, and then going into match is more like, okay, let's see, because I can't do much. What am I going to do? How can I do something in 2 days that would not totally destroy something? Because it would be a guess. It would completely be a guess. Even if I see things, would this be a good time? And how would I say it? What is the best way to make him do what I want? There's no fucking way. Sorry. Sorry. that I could do that. I would probably rather say nothing and just say, okay, I'm here as a support. Let's do the best things, and then we maybe can use this to build on and see and learn from, because otherwise it would be like throwing dices, because it's not that easy just to step in and wow, look what we did. I mean, it's not that easy.
No, obviously not.
Do you have, well, this seems like a common position for any coach, especially if you're going to work with many elite players, Michael. So, like, do you have any hacks or secrets? How do you accelerate this trust building? You are saying you have to spend time on and off, but because you're joining Dennis's team, you want to get to that point where you're in the driving seat with him as best as possible. Is there any way you accelerate that?
Well, I think first of all, I can feel in. So many times we don't need to speak. I can feel how the player is, how he feels, and I can adapt very much to different situations and emotions. So I think that helps me a lot to find the balance where I should have my energy, and if I should push, stay back, make jokes or be serious, all these kind of things that matters in the end with the timing, and how do I get my player out from this stress situation? How do I get my player to feel good? How do I get my player to to build his confidence. All these things is about timing and feeling and sensing and understanding. So I guess it helps me a lot to really try to fill in the player and also showing that I'm here for them, not for my own purposes. It's only for them. And even if that means that no, but it's good for you to do this now, or it's good for you to take the day off, it always in the best interest of the player in every situation.
Yeah, so you're really relying on the feelings and the emotional temperature, I guess,
Yes,
to some
a
extent.
lot, a lot. And of course, then we come to the fact, how do we then, what do we need to develop? That's another story, but that's also about timing. But of course, we need to have the DNA of the player, and we agree on the things where we're going to. But I will, after the sessions that we had on court, basically say, this is how I see, this is how I see your development plan. And we also, even when before we start working, it's really important that we share the same goals, because if my goals are too high or the opposite, and we don't meet in that, it's no idea that we even start working. So I think it's very, very important for me at this point. Is very important for me that the goals are set very high and that they are aligned.
That's a very nice point you mentioned about the goal setting. I always wondered, how do you set goals with a top player? Like, right, you're starting with Dennis. Can you talk to us a little bit about how do you set goals? Maybe you can even share something more specific about what goals you set for him, because he's already reached very high levels of the sport.
Yeah, I think I maybe want to keep them for us, in respect, because I don't know how much, but obviously,
Yeah, yeah. Generally
since he
then, I
already
guess.
been in the top, you can imagine that we don't set goals that are, top 30 or whatever, that where he already is. I mean, it has to be something that are, of course, realistic, but it also has to be a roadmap towards that. And and then, of course, the way we work is a lot of things into that goal. But I think it starts with, we need to know where we're going to have the possibility to reach anything. And then we have
How,
something to also measure against.
yeah. How long do you go with a player before, okay, we're not looking at results? When do you start, like, okay, this is the beginning of a partnership, so we're working things out, we're tweaking things. What is there a specific time frame that you have, like, okay, now we start looking at results, before then let's not look at results? Is that a thought process or not?
I mean, I think
Tricky.
it's, of course, it's always a process of things, but we cannot hide the fact that we always still look at results. That we do, because that's part of what we measure. But I think it's more the fact, how was this, matches, how was this leading up to the matches. That's maybe where we focus mostly on. But you cannot come to the point where the match loss and match wins, they matters already from the day one. They do, but you probably don't go and be all sad about it in a certain way, because you're onto something that you believe in. But of course, the sooner they come, the easier the work is, right?
Yeah.
So no, it's always there. We don't, and the thing is, we don't really have to mention it. We don't have to put so much focus on it, because it is anyway. I don't know any player who walks on court and doesn't care about the result and only thinks about the process. No, but it
Yeah.
might be the major thing to reach the higher goal, that the process is in the bigger picture more important. But confidence of winning matches is a big step towards any goal, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
in the end, we want the matches. The more matches, the more we can learn, the faster we can progress. So it's there, whether we like it or not, or whether it's outspoken or not, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And back to the goals or the roadmap you're just speaking about, Michael, which is, how much of those goals or sub goals, for example, are more technical? How much are mental? How much maybe are physical? Like, what would you say is the combination of this basket?
Well, in the end, it comes down to, let's say you put a ranking goal up and say that the player has a goal to reach the Masters. We say a player's goal is to reach the Masters. We can easily break it down to the fact that you need to take an average of your countable tournaments 200 points. That's quite a lot. That means that need to win a lot of matches.
Yeah.
So it starts with, okay, 200 points per week in average. So you probably need to take a lot more points some weeks because you're never always gonna have match wins in every week. Already there, you start to see that yes, the results do matter, and they matter quite early to be able to reach maybe that final eight. And with that, you need to fill it with, okay, but I need to do certain things much better. I need to do certain things more often, and that's sort of the development, um, your development plan and your roadmap. That okay, if I do these things, we can see if you serve like this, if you have this much, how do you say, first serve percentage, whatever it is, what you see, and to reach deep in the Grand Slams, you cannot maybe waste too much energy playing 5 sets in the beginning of the tournament. So every set in the end counts. There are small things depending on the player that you need to look at, depending on how it's looked in the past. Why didn't we reach the top 8 these years? What happened and why? And then you go in and try to, okay, but we need to do, of course, we need to do things differently, because it cannot be from one year we set a new goal and suddenly we reach it. So what do we change from what we did here to this year when we hopefully reach our goals? And that's a lot of digging in different things, and with maybe everything from tactics, physicality, technically, everything in the end counts. But it's hard to say from one another player. Could be more of the other thing depending on the player. What do we need to change? It could be that we lose a lot of long matches. Okay, your physique is not good enough. Could be that we lose a lot of close matches. Okay, has it something to do with the mental side of it? Or do we do technical mistakes that hurts us? So it's a lot of digging into trying to see what is it with this project that we need to change to now reach something that we never done.
Yeah. Maybe let's talk about if Gael Monfils a bit, because this was your longest partnership, I presume, Michael. So, I mean, what made this partnership work so well? You achieved many titles together, deep runs at Masters, deep runs at Slams. What do you think made that work so well with Gael?
No, I think we understand each other well, and we know each other well. And I also let Gael be Gael, and enjoy the game. And I used to say that if we have a frame, and as long as Gael is painting within the frame, he's free to paint whatever he wants. But by the time he starts to paint outside the frame, I'm there to try to push him back into the painting, right? So yeah, I think with a play like that, it's important that he still feels free, but it's still within some kind of frame, right?
But is that specific to Gael, to Gael Monfils? Because he's such, you feel like he's an artist out there, like you're saying, which is why you're saying a painting probably. You need to let him roam free. Is that the same with every player? Is this specific to Gael?
No, I think that there are so many different personalities out there. So I think he's not alone being this free spirit, so to speak, and but he's probably the one that stands out the most. But again, then whoever you coach, they still need to feel the freedom of taking the decision. So I think my job is to to build the trust of taking the right decision more often, but that has to come within. It cannot be, yeah, I think Mikael wants me to do this now. That's never going to work. For me, it's to build that trust, and that they start doing things that is more efficient more often, that they still need to feel like they play within themselves, like they are free to take the right decision. So my job is to build that trust and to take better decisions more often.
Do you have a favorite moment from your time together, Mikael?
Well, for me, it was always special, of course, when he won the Stockholm Open, and we had the comeback year. I didn't work with him for some years because we opened the academy back home in Stockholm, and then he started that year ranked 400. Oh, when I jumped on board, he was 400 in the world, and then had great success in the summer, and ending with him winning Stockholm Open, and 38 years old. I was a special moment for me, also living in Stockholm, of course.
Yeah, that was really iconic. Do you have any funny stories? Gael seems like a jokester. He's always having fun.
No, it's a lot of fun moments on tour, of course, and you've probably seen that he's a great magician and a card magician as well. So there's been many dinners that I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen these tricks, and I still don't understand how they work. But yeah, it's a fun time on tour, and great times. Many things, a lot of energy, always going. Yeah.
Is he pranking? Does he do any pranks?
Well, not so much pranking, no. Not so much pranking, but more enjoying his time on tour.
Yeah, he seems to enjoy life. Then, Mikael, what was happening in 2020? So right before COVID, I feel as a fan, Monfils was having maybe the best period of his late tennis career, at least, and he was having. Remember, he had you guys had these really nice title wins in Rotterdam and Montpellier. What was clicking in that time maybe more than other times? Was there something special during that period?
Well, I wasn't there with him then, so I just know, of course, I had always kept contact with him, but he was very unfortunate for him. Obviously, I spoke to him about that COVID hit just after Dubai, because he was really playing well, and for him it was
had Novak
really,
on the
really
ropes.
tough time. It was really tough time for this period of time, and it took time for him to get both motivation and his, because we must understand that Gael is his best when he's playing matches and get a lot of matches. Also, he's not 25 anymore, going through tough preseason things, building up. So it's very important for him to have a season where he gets many matches in a row. Then he becomes better and better, playing wise, physically, everything. So when something like this hit for him, was probably tougher than for someone who just started on tour to find the motivation to restart the engines and go back at it. I think there it could have been easy for him to say no, but it's tough. I think I had it, but he found his way back, and that of course helped having his wife on tour.
Yeah. Then I have a question, Mikael, because with all fondness and love, and this is not specific to Gael, but why is Djokovic his kryptonite, essentially? He's come so close so many times, but it seems like he just can't get over the hump with Djokovic.
No, I know. I mean, I guess in the end it becomes really mental to just see him in the draw, even if it's the second, third round, whatever it is. It's sort of like the hurdle is so big now. And
It's tough now.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it
18,
really is. And like he
19.
says, he feels like he knows where Gael is hitting every ball. So for Gael, even though he can serve, I remember one year we played the final just during this time in back in 17, the final of Eastbourne, and Gael had been serving really well the whole week, and they played each other in the final, and then suddenly it feels like he's standing there, even though Gael serves on the line, he returns deep on the baseline. And just Gael just feels like he's eating his ball for breakfast. So yeah, it is something there. Of course, it becomes a mental thing, but it's also something that he reads Gael's games so well, and his ball suits him so well. And Gael is of course one of the greatest movers, but so is Djokovic, and it just he takes out Gael's game in a way that I never seen before.
I think no one in the history of the sport has seen before. It's unbelievable to me every time I watch those matchups because given how great Gael is and how great a mover and how talented he is.
But in Dubai, he had him.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
that
like
was
you
the
felt like it
plan.
was.
But
Yeah.
not even 3 match point helped, and it's been other times as well with tiebreaks in the final set. But in the end, it's a L.
Yeah. So yeah, Michael, everyone knows Gael is such an incredible athlete. How much of that is talent and how much of that is hard work?
But of course, he genetically he's gifted in that sense that when he works and do certain things, he really gains a lot from that. Also in the young age, and of course he's been working hard. But I would say it's genetically he has a big advantage, of course, but it's also find a way to manage his body to work very smart because it's not the one who works the hardest who's going to have the most success. Understanding he's very good at listening to his body, understanding the body, what it needs, how much it needs, and also when he needs recovery because he's so explosive that he needs recovery. He really needs recovery, otherwise he's going to break. So, someone coming in working with him will probably say, yeah, but normally we should do this and that. But yeah, but you don't understand that how much it takes out from Gael when he plays his tennis. We all seen the way he plays, it's quite physical, right? So it's important to understand that we cannot also do this type of heavy explosive work on off the court because then we have no player the next day. It's,
But even so, the classic Monfils, like he
yeah,
rests on his racket after being so explosive and doing like an insane,
yeah.
amazing point.
No, but
Yeah,
you
classic.
have you have a V12 engine, right? So
It
yeah,
has to rest.
yeah,
It has to rest. Yeah. Also, it's so funny because after he rests and he's like, hey, he did already an amazing point. He's gonna
yeah.
do it again just after.
It keeps on going. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
In Roland Garros just just less than a month ago when he was playing Delian in the first round, coming back from he fell down. You think he's done. Gael's done. Then here's 3 more hours of just entertaining, amazing tennis,
Yeah.
mind-blowing tennis.
Does it surprise you? Does it surprise you, or do you feel like, yeah, this is
No, I
normal?
mean we've seen it so many times now, and then also in Australia, what he was able to do, that was for me, almost surprising in the sense that winning Auckland, coming back to Melbourne, and then winning 5 sets, but was so close to already winning 3 sets, um, and then again in 4 sets, but still mentally keep going and win this amazing match against MPG. That for me, not only physically that I was able to do it, but also mentally after winning a title or like almost 39 years old, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was impressive to see, because I don't think many players would have been able to do what he did, and yet he's 39.
Yeah,
It was
It
very
was
impressive.
it was maybe one of the most inspiring things I've seen this season, what he did in Australia. But after, like, when he goes down in that Ben Shelton match, and you're like, you know, he's done. He gave everything he had, and we can see it. Everyone had nothing but respect for him, because we know he gave everything he had on the court. Afterwards, do you feel like if Gael maybe was just a bit younger, he would absolutely maybe go on and done something super special?
Yeah, of course, but we have what we have. But it was, of course, his body was completely dead. And I must say, the way he played against Fritz was one of the best tennis I've seen him play throughout his career, with the way he was serving and moving and hitting. And yet he took Ben to three close sets, and then he was done, and he had some tears in his leg. So it was good that he stopped when he did, because we had to take him out
Yeah.
for over a month to heal and be ready for the US swing. But no, of course, when you look at it and you see that, oh, it could have been there, it could have been, but again, you're so grateful for the wins, and for the time, and still being able to play and beat the top players in the world. It's because he obviously, the deeper in the tournament, the longer matches he had, it's the recovery that hurts him. The level of tennis he's proven,
Yeah.
beating Alcaraz last year, Fritz, and these top players, proves
Yeah.
that he is still very capable.
Yeah, but that, I think that then that makes lots of sense, when, because they asked Gael during the Australian Open, even, like, do you have like, do you see yourself winning the tournament? He's like, no, I'm not looking at winning. But I don't think that's not his lack of ambition. It's from what you're saying, his body can't give him 7 matches at
No,
the Slam.
it's really hard, the slams, especially because, in a way, how the tour now has changed, and doing all these double weeks, in a way, helps him, because even though mentally it's very, very long to play all those swings, but you play best of 3, you have a day off. You play best of 3, you have a day off. Actually helps him.
Yeah. Okay. Then one last point about Gael that I wanted to ask, because to me, Gael Monfils is he's one of the most talented players in his generation, which I think is a big statement, because there's so many talented guys, and we know the big 3, big 4, if you want to say. Do you think in any way that Gael did not, like, he did everything, and he reached the highest of highs, but do you ever feel like Gael, if he did this or did that, he would have been that much better, or did he do everything he can to become the player he became?
Well, it's hard to say, of course, but we have to understand that he was in the era when the best of the best was playing, so there was not many big titles to take, because you had to beat
Yeah.
minimum 2 or 3 of these players. So
Yeah.
so
great.
that, of course, what I mean, a guy like Mario had an amazing career, but he has 3 slams only,
Yeah.
and Stan 3, which is amazing, but they took the rest, and there are Silic and a few others who has won Del Potro, but there was not much to take, just because they were so good.
Yeah. It was an unlucky
For
era
some,
for
yes.
some people.
It
For
was a
some.
brutal error. It was a brutal error. Then, by the way, Michael, I called the title win in Auckland. I had Monfils winning that title.
He did.
I predicted it here on this pod. I predicted Monfils would win that. So I was with you guys. I was riding the whole way.
It looked a bit dark the first match, I must say. We were really down.
Yeah, but then it opened up. After that comeback, it
Yeah.
was like, okay, This is a magic week.
No, I
It
could
was a
also
magic
feel
week. It
it
was a
because,
magical week.
you know, once he started to find his way, I felt that, yeah, he was sort of almost also my favorite after that to actually be able to do it. But you know, to still do it was amazing, and it was also extra fun because his agent since forever is the tournament director there. So yeah, it was almost like
Oh,
home
nice.
soil for us.
That's
Nice.
very nice.
Monfils Gael has so many home soils:
Exactly.
Stockholm, New Zealand, France. He's all over Ukraine.
Yeah,
He
no,
has a lot of homes.
he's a popular player wherever he
Um,
goes as well. So
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Then I mean, you just talked about this match that when he found a way to beat Alcaraz in Cincinnati. I'd just like to hear what in the world was the game plan going in, and how did he pull that off? It was a great match from him.
no, obviously we learned from the match when we played him in Miami the earlier, and we were absolutely killed. And Gael was not playing bad. It was just that, you know, we were not playing the way that we realized we had to do, and obviously, even though you have a good game plan, you need to execute it perfectly. Otherwise, he's too good, and that of course is very very hard. And Gael, of course, coming in to that match, and he got sick in Toronto, or in Montreal, I think we were. So we didn't get many matches there. But then he did played a good match against Popyrin. He just came off the win, and he was serving well. It was extremely fast conditions, so we knew that we had to play aggressively, much more aggressive than Gael normally does, because otherwise, if you give Carlos time, he's just gonna blow you off the court. So yes, we needed to take much more chances and try to put way more pressure, take chances on our own second serves, and really stepping in on Carlos' second serve, and try to hurt him all the time, which is not easy, of course. But yeah, we had a day when Gael was serving really well, and you know, in the end managed, even though it was a hard-won battle, of course.
Yeah.
Very hard. Final set 6-4. Very, very impressive.
Well deserved win. And Michael, you have had so many. You have vast experience coaching good players, very good players, great players. Monfils, Dimitrov, Stanislas Wawrinka as you mentioned for a bit, and now Dennis. What are can you identify and tell us what are some of the traits that the very good players have, and maybe that the Grand Slam champions like Stanislas Wawrinka has? Are there differences? Can you spot them, and do you have any idea what they are?
No, I mean, of course, my good partner Magnus has worked so closely with Stan, and I of course seen them closely, but I only worked with Stan to help Magnus out the last 10 days. But it's, you know, they have very high standards in everything they do, and I can see that, you know, when they go to work, the focus they have, it's amazing that they can go every day for so many years, and once they step out on that court, and they can have a lot of fun around and do things, but once they step on the court, it's a job, and they are very good at telling also how they feel, what they should do, and helping the coach out, and communication, of course. And this is what I tell all the young kids at the academy as well. The more questions, the more things you are open to ask, the better we can help you, because we see certain things, but the player needs to tell us what they feel, so we can guide them in this. And they are so aware of what they can do, and then it's much easier also to guide these players, because they they don't wait day after day. If they feel something, they want to directly go and work on it right away, and with a great focus.
Okay, great point. Another one I wanted, this is something I always think of, which is the balance, I guess, the trickiness of ego and confidence. And worked with the best of the best, as we said. And I feel from the outside looking in that the great players have such a high level of confidence, but very low ego. Is that true?
Yeah, in many ways, yes. They are also the nicest people around, and they see all the people that makes it possible for them to do the jobs. And it could be anything from doing certain uh, PR for tournaments. It could be how they handle the fans and the sponsors, because we must know when the when a match is over or practice is over, it's not over for them. They have so many obligations and they need to do it, and they do it with a smile because they know it's part of their job. So I see that for them, they know it's the job and they treat it as one very professionally. Um, and I think, it's hard to sometimes understand how much effort it takes on them. And we need to take that in consideration when we put up schedules and whatever work we need physically to do, that their job is not only what we see on court or in the gym, it's the rest that also takes a lot of toll on the body, and that's not recovery. That is not recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You talked about the highs. Maybe just a quick touch on the lows. Do you have like a most heartbreaking loss or like
Points in quarterfinals Miami with Gael against Nishikori, so many match points losing, and it hurts, but we're pretty quick at leaving that and look ahead. And we play finals in Rotterdam, and Gael being upset, and it looks like he's gonna really just finish the job done, and then ending up losing, and that always hurts. But I remember telling Gael, because he was really, really down after the final loss in Rotterdam, and I said, but what if we look back on last Sunday when you were here and he was not feeling great coming into the week? And back then I said, Gael, here is a fine final spot, 300 points, but you will not win. Will you take it? And he said, of course I will take it. And I said, yeah, but now you have it, so we cannot be that sad, right? So I think during those moments, it's important to think about positive side. Is it half full or half empty, the glass, right? And otherwise, this job becomes so tough week after week. Most of the weeks we leave with a loss. Most of the time ends with a loss. So is that loss gonna take over all the emotions of the other wins, or where are we at? Or even if we have a first loss, okay, then we need to go back to work. Okay, that gives us more time to prepare for the next one. We always need to find ways where we see, okay, because it's so tough emotionally still for the player to walk off the court with a loss, that we quite quickly need to get back up on the horse and find energy to the next goal, or to the next whatever it is, work. Because otherwise it is a very tough sport in that sense, because it's a non-stop game during the whole year.
yeah, very good, very
Very,
good point.
very nice perspective. Well, I want to add the last thing I want to touch on this exact point, because we have something, when you're speaking, there's something very specific that comes to mind, and it's Jannik Sinner's loss in Roland Garros. And the conversation afterwards is, okay, Jannik, we know he's so tough mentally. We know he has a great team around him. But is this quick turnaround, because Roland Garros Wimbledon, such a quick turnaround, is he going to be able to overcome that? If in that position, is there any specific thing, like, would you think, if I was in the place of Cahill or Vagnozzi, and if you were in their spot, would you be like, okay, I would attack it this way if this was my player? Is there any way you would approach
Yeah, and I think, and I would think that
one.
this is what you do because to be honest, I don't think Yannick ever played better clay court tennis in his life. So looking at both the performance and the fact that he played well enough to win the match, that's no doubt. He didn't win, but he also never played the finals of Paris before. This is the deepest run he ever had at French Open. So, which means that, I guess if you look at it, he probably developed more than Carlos did over the last 12 months on that specific surface.
Yes.
And that's a positive thing, right, going forward.
Of course. Yes. Well, that's a very nice point.
Boris Becker made a point recently saying that it will take Jannik about a year to recover from this loss. What are your thoughts about that, Michael?
I really don't think so. No, I really don't think so, because
too good.
You know, Roland Garros is one of 3 slams. He has one coming up now. I think he is still one of the favorites to win here. That makes this sport so good, because it's not just an event every 4 years. It's big tournaments coming up all the time. And I think he has bigger goals than, if I don't win Roland Garros 2025, I think he never really saw himself as the favorite coming off that loss in Rome. If he then would have seen himself actually being match points up, probably should have won but didn't. Something good must have happened over the last 2 weeks, right? So, of course, right there, right then, of course it hurts. Of course it hurts. Do we think we're not going to see Jannik Sinner winning tournaments the rest of the year? We will. He's too good. I think he's mentally too strong, and that's just my opinion. I think he has other goals to reach already. They're coming Wimbledon and US Open and so on. So.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about tennis is, like, you can actually, the week after, like every week, you can come back and try again and maybe change the emotions. So as much as it's a bad thing, it's a good. It's so busy, but at the same time, you can overcome those bad losses if you end up winning.
I mean, that's it. Now he didn't win his preparation week, but again, you know, this is when it matters, and we know he's one of the players to beat here.
Yeah. Well, building on the point of Sinner, we'll just talk about a bit the tour and some of your thoughts there. Well, first off, the Alcaraz-Sinner rivalry. What are your thoughts on that so far? Because it's turning into really a classic, and I think tennis gained so many fans over the past, I would say, 2 weeks because of what they did in the final. What are your thoughts on that rivalry?
I think they're taking the tennis to another level compared to many, as we saw. They beating top 10 players that they were almost looking like juniors, and that's yeah, but it's true that we sometimes forget that these players are so good, and they make them look not as top 10 players, and that's also frustrating for these good players that they. What I'm gonna do? I mean, we saw Sinner Ruud in Rome. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I think.
And then Lehechka also.
Lehechka just made a final last week in Queens.
he devoured Lehechka in Roland Garros.
But we see, and I think that's so good for the sport that said that, well, it's going to be trouble when Federer, Nadal, Djokovic retires. Djokovic is still around and still being a contender. However, we see that when Alcaraz is playing his best, he's probably the best, but we see Sinner not dropping his level at all, which means that he's the number one because he has the best results overall. Even though he was out, he's still the one. And Carlos having, they rule the tennis world at this point, and it's going to be interesting to see if we have some more players getting close to them, because right now they are flying a bit higher than everyone else, for sure.
Yeah, we could say so. Well, about the Roland Garros final specifically, I think there are lots of thoughts on it afterwards. This is the greatest Roland Garros final. This is one of the greatest matches ever. You're someone who has been around for a while. You've seen everything. You've seen all the greats. Where does this one rank in this Roland Garros final? Your thoughts on that one? What were your thoughts after seeing
No,
that?
it was amazing tennis, and maybe mainly also because you would think, because it's so physical, that now it's going to be a drop. It's going to be a drop. It was small drops here and there from one or the other player, but it was so short that the level of tennis throughout these 5.5 hours was so high. And I think that maybe as really stands out, because the speed of the match and how they were playing, that was just there was not really injury timeouts and were fast in between the points. It was, you're almost sweating watching it.
You're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
And you believe that one point can never. There must be and then again and again and again, and so, and the level they had to play at to win the points was just so high. Of course, we have legendary matches between Nadal and Roger as well, but I think for me, in terms of a final also, and also the not only the level of play, but also how the scoreline and everything went and changed. I think it's hard even to even if you stage something would be this.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like if you would have even tried to stage it and write it out, it feels like it's gonna be fake. Like this is not believable. Nobody's gonna believe this. This doesn't make sense. 3 match points up, and like he's that's
and
crazy.
You would think, like, throughout the match, like, you're like, okay, I can now predict how this set's going to go or this is going to go. And then, like, no, here he comes. And then Sinner, like, oh, he's down and out. Final set, it's probably going to be demolition. No, Sinner's not going anywhere. He's right there. And, oh, my God, 5-4 serving. And no, he's going
I thought
there was so many
really
twists and
Carlos
turns.
would sail away with it when he broke early. And then Sinner somehow found that energy to come back was astonishing. Yeah.
Who did you have winning that
Well,
match, though?
before the match and before the tournament, I had Carlos as the favorite to win.
Okay.
It didn't look like that for in the fourth set, of course. But yeah, first 2 hours. But when Carlos actually won the third set, I still thought that he would win. But then, when Sinner, of course, the match was over. I think we all felt that, but
yeah, we all did. The whole world thought it was over.
Throughout the tournament, when Sinner also was giving people food, bagels, and treating them like they're junior players, you didn't switch your pick?
Well, not really, because you know that it's a different ball and everything changes but again, you saw also the start of the match, and you would feel, oh, wow, this is probably gonna be too tough. But then I think personally, which was, I think, a good change. I don't know if it was intentionally or not, but Carlos was going in my opinion, way too big on his first serve against against Sinner, and he'd gained nothing. He was just getting the ball faster back. When he started to use the spin serve more, he was gaining court position, and from there on, I felt he started to have a game plan to hold serve easily, and sort of also getting more energy into Sinner's service game to go after them, because before that he was struggling to get anything, because Sinner was just shooting back the returns, and
That's it's amazing insights you're saying, because that's the margin we're at now. If you put too much on
Yeah.
the first serve,
yeah,
you're getting
yeah,
paid
but it's
for it.
true though, because they swinging fully on the returns, and of course the faster you serve them, and they read it, and they're that good. But yeah, for me that was something that I saw changing, and really helped Carlos to actually get away with the match in the end.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Okay, well, we just talked about Roland Garros final and Sinner and Alcaraz. But Michael, I need to tell you something. I had Novak Djokovic winning the Roland Garros title this year. That did not come to fruition. But my question to you is, at 38 years of age now, Novak Djokovic, do you still think he has it to win a slam?
Yes, I actually do, and I think here is probably his biggest chances. I
Yeah.
Yes.
Here being Wimbledon.
Yep.
I mean, the way he still moves, the way he still returns, the feel for the game and the understanding of the game. But I think also, physically and recovery wise, it's probably here and not US Open. And then of course, time goes, so it's even further away. So yes,
Yeah.
I think he has, because he's so good in all aspects of the game. But again,
Yeah.
he needs to probably beat both of them. That's the thing.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
I
Do you
think he
think
can,
do it?
but like I said, would I gamble on it? No, but I think he's, obviously Alcaraz is a favorite, but he's not far ahead of Sinner, and Sinner is not far ahead of Novak. That's my view on this. So yeah, a little bit depending on how physically does it get for Novak in the beginning of the tournament, because I don't think it matters for Sinner and Alcaraz whether they will bump into tough 4-5 setter, but I think that might hurt Novak end of the tournament.
Maybe if somebody by any chance takes them out, then he
Yeah,
could be
exactly.
the favorite.
Yeah, that's just the thing. When you look now, that's not many who has proven they can.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning Wimbledon then, Michael?
Well, as
Or the
much as I
favorites.
like Dennis to win, of course. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
exactly.
He's a semi-finalist, so
of
no one
course
can
we
count
need
him out.
to. This
Yeah.
is something, and I think it's something that he probably could achieve in his career, and would be amazing. But also looking now, being a favorite would probably be Alcaraz.
This is a question that we've been asking ourselves for a while, and this is a conclusion that I think I made. Do you think that grass is Alcaraz's best surface?
Yeah, considering that he doesn't lose on this surface. Yeah, and I also think I even though he has more high and lows than Sinner, who's like what we spoke about earlier, that he's maintains his level all the time. But when Alcaraz is playing good on hard court, he's unbeatable.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, other than Dennis Shapovalov, who we're very high on, by the way, Who do you think can be the next to win a slam, actually, outside of the Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic tour?
Well, we've seen Zverev has proven that he has the level time after time to reach deep, right? And I think, you know, he still has the game to do that. But will he? It's not getting easier. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because they
It's
have
not.
become
No.
better, and I think, and I have no proof of this at all, but I think when Sinner wasn't allowed to play for 3 months, and Zverev probably saw his chance of getting closer to that number one spot, actually hurt him rather than
Yeah.
put him in the spot that, wow, well, there's one less guy to beat now, because he started losing to players that he normally wouldn't lose to. I don't know, but it could have played in with him knowing it or not, that, wow, now I have 3-4 months here that I can gain points and Cena can't, and I'm number 2 in the world. But we haven't seen the same of Sasha as we did a year ago.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
you don't
guess
have a player in
Sasha
mind
is
on that
probably
level,
the
or it's
one,
Sasha for you.
because I don't see, you know, it's even tough to see players. I mean, Tsitsipas has dropped. He's losing confidence, and so that was up there playing finals of Slam, and no, at the moment, because they're also so young, we have to remember that Carlos and Sinner, they are still very young and gonna be around for quite some time, and
Yeah.
you know,
What about guys like Holger Rune, Jack Draper, Fonseca, those guys?
of course, they,
Musetti.
but it's also too early to say, because right now they're not really there. And if you haven't played a final yet, you're gonna play your first final. Wow, what that means. So yeah, and I think
Yeah.
there's gonna be some years still to have to beat these two guys. So I guess they also need to develop things, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they also can raise the level of the game that's needed to win slams. But and so yeah, for now I think, yeah, they're great players, they're good players, and Fonseca, of course, super young, very talented, and Jack Draper's playing so good on so many surfaces, and he's gonna be a contender for sure. But is that gonna be within the next 1-2 years? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Fair points. Last question we want to ask about the tour before we get into your incredible playing career, and this is a question that everyone has to ask in tennis. So, Coach, who is your GOAT?
Well, I mean, what Djokovic has done is just unbelievable. But also looking at what Rafa did at French Open, it's just unbelievable. But looking at career-wise, you know, Novak, what he's done, he's the best of the best. Then this playing style, I always loved to watch Roger. For me, he was, you know, he is the god in terms of playing. But when you look at results, which you come down to and saying who's the best player, I think that's Novak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, let's get into your playing career, because I know we started off with the coaching career, but we need to go back to this because you really did have an amazing career and we want to talk about it. Well, but first off, I always want to ask this question, and it's very interesting to me as to how each player reaches this point. But it was, when did you realize that you wanted to become a pro?
I think that was after I played the US Open final as a junior. Before that, tennis for me was I loved playing it, and I started traveling as a junior. I become better and better, became highly ranked, won the junior doubles in US Open and many other bigger titles, and then I ended, I think number 4, because back then there was 2 separate rankings, one for single, one for double. I guess if it would have been a combined back then, I think I would have been number one, because I was winning so much in doubles. I was number 4 in singles and number 2 in doubles. But then I also realized that back then tennis was a power nation in tennis, and I had the opportunity to play with top players in my club back in Gothenburg. Top 10 players such as Jonas Svensson, Magnus Gustafsson, and so on. And I started believing the fact that I could actually make it on the pro circuit. So yeah, that was probably then that I said, at least I'm going to try to chase that dream.
That's
Very
nice.
cool.
I thought maybe it would be sooner.
No,
But that's
it
very
really
interesting
wasn't.
that
And
everyone
for
reaches
me, it
that
was,
point
what was your goal? Yeah, it was to try to make a living out of tennis, to become top 100, to chase that.
Yeah. Well, you did that and so much more. So
Yeah, well
congratulations on all that. Well, you had lots of wins in your career. You played some big players, beat some big players. Do you have a favorite one?
Well, the one that of course also changed a lot. I was just during that tournament, I think I became top 100 for the first time. I just made it into the main draw of Australian Open, and then I reached the quarterfinals. In the 4th round, I beat Thomas Muster, who later after that tournament, I think he was number 2 in the world when I beat him, and he was number 1 after the tournament. And that was a big win for me, obviously. That meant a lot. So I think that one probably, that top win there probably meant the most for my career.
Awesome. That's a big win, Thomas Muster back in the day. Then I want to ask you, because this is Sampras was also one of my favorite players when I was a young boy. You played him many times, Michael. I know it was tough battles, but what was it like going against Pete
It was
Sampras?
never a good draw for me, and I drew him most of the times in the slams. I played it twice here at Wimbledon. And for me, playing him here, it felt like he was hitting bowling balls at me. His ball was so heavy. I never experienced anything like it, and
Wow.
and the precision of his serve, you see that the speed of the serve now is faster, but his precision was ridiculous. And it was basically 2 first coming. But on the line, every time.
Yeah.
And it was unreadable. And I was known to have very good returns. I remember one of the years, it was only me and then Todd Woodbridge who broke him at all in the whole tournament. One time each. That's how good he served.
Amazing.
That's insane. That's insane.
Wow.
That's how good you returned as well.
But that's probably
Well
the
done.
only player I've played who I take to tiebreak and I feel I have no chance.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Did you ever believe you were going to win
Yeah,
in any of
4th
those
round
matches? when you were
Paris,
going in?
I actually, for a little moment, felt like I could probably win this. And I was down 2 sets to love. I won the 3rd set quite easy, 6-1. And I was up 4-3, having 5-6 break points to go 5-3 in the 4th set. And I was feeling I was playing better than him then. But of course, every time then it was a big first serve, big first serve, big first serve. And I never broke him. And then, of course, he broke me instead. And then suddenly the match was over. So I got to feel like I had a chance to win for a few minutes. And then I was shaking hands. But, well, there, I guess I was playing on the surface that I actually did have a chance at least, but the other I played in Australian Open, I played in US Open, I played in Basel 2 times, Wimbledon. No, I never felt I was really close, but at French Open.
Amazing. Well, maybe let's end with a some rapid fire questions here, Michael. Before we go, just creating basically the best player of all time. All right, so. These you can answer with anyone present or past as you see fits best. All right, so best serve.
Pete Sampras.
It has to be
Makes
after what you just mentioned. Best forehand.
Roger Federer.
Okay.
Best backhand.
Novak Djokovic.
Yes.
Best slice backhand.
Ooh.
Federer.
Okay.
Best volleys.
Pat Rafter.
Yes.
Best drop shots.
Marushan.
Oh, wow.
Okay, nice one.
Alcaraz
Did not see
thing.
that coming.
That's crazy.
Very nice.
All right, most talented.
Federer.
Okay.
Most underrated.
Interesting.
Federer.
Oh, wow.
Most athletic.
Gael Monfils.
Has to be mentally toughest.
Novak.
Yeah. Okay. Most clutch moment you've witnessed.
Alcaraz.
Oh.
Best slam.
Slam that like smash or
No, best favorite slam. Grand slam.
favorite slam. Melbourne.
Melbourne, nice. Favorite Masters?
Monaco.
Nice. All right, best match you've ever watched in your entire life.
Ooh.
Alcaraz Sinner French Open.
Wow.
That's a great
Wow.
great answers there. Great list, honestly.
Maruchan, that was not expected.
That was
But
awesome.
look at his
Based
drop
on-
shots. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah, it's crazy when he beats
No, it's
when he beats Alcaraz. That was insane.
no, but he beats him with drop shots only, so has
Yeah.
to be the best.
But based on your answers, if you can just give us time to ask this last question, because you said Federer a few times on this list, and you faced him. What was it like playing against a young? I know it was a young Roger Federer, but what was it like facing him?
Yeah, well,
Beat him in doubles.
well, the feeling was that I was hitting all the time. That's how fast he played. It felt like I was hitting all the shots.
That's insane.
Same, yeah.
What about Agassi?
But he took it one step further. Agassi, I played him and I got beaten so bad that I wanted to try to disappear from the court in Washington one year. But yeah, it was brutal in that sense because he could be so dialed in that you knew that you were chasing games. You knew that you were not going to win the match early. Against Sampras, you had the teasing thing that you could hold serve to 4-all and then he would break you and then serve out the set. But at least you didn't feel completely outplayed like you could against Federer or Agassi, who just stole the time and just hitting so clean that, and there was no way to get any points even from your serve. So yeah, no, that was painful. Yeah.
Well, sorry for opening those wounds. We apologize. We apologize. But we had to ask after, especially the rapid fire where you named them. Well, last thing before we go, and thank you very much for your time, especially in this very busy schedule that you have. Players up and coming, someone might be listening right now, other up and coming players. What's one message you would have to young players coming up today?
No, really, it's important to really find a good place to get energy and trust from that you pursue the dream and love the game, love what you do. It's the best sport in the world. It's amazing. It's super tough. But it's still the best job you can go after. But make sure you have good crew around and that supports you in up and downs.
Amazing. Awesome.
Well,
Fantastic.
last thing before we go, where can people find you? And if you want to give any information on the academy,
Good to great,
anything?
.se, and they can reach out to their numerous numbers or access there. We really focus on development between 13 and 19, and the people that enter pro. Of course, we have a tour program, but the main obvious for us, and we were super happy and super thrilled that Niels McDonald, who's been in the program since he was 13, just won the Junior French Open, and that's
Congrats.
something we
Awesome.
have
Awesome.
many good juniors developing in the program. So we work with top players on tour, yes, but also to prove that there's no secrets. We know how the best is training. We bring that into the program. We have a great crew, and the focus is to develop the players to the best they can be.
Awesome.
Awesome. You're doing a great job.
I need to say this.
Well,
I love
thanks.
the name of the academy, by the way.
That's what it is.
Yeah, awesome. I love
what
it.
it takes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to the point. Like,
Yes.
I'm a good player. I want to become
Yes.
great. I
Thank
come
you,
to
guys.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
It's perfect. Yeah, thanks so much, Michael, for your time. This has been a really fantastic interview. I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy and take a lot of interesting, inspiring, and
Thank you so much,
knowledge
guys.
from this.
Yes. And
All right, thanks,
hopefully
guys.
we do it soon again. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Good luck with everything, Michael.
Well, guys, that was our interview with Coach Mikael Tillström. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think clearly he's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
He's not going to be rushed into speaking about something. He really deliberates things carefully. And I loved what he was saying about how like when we were asking him, like, all right, how do you set goals, or like what are the priorities? It's really case by case, isn't it, right? Depending on the player and what's the player been good at, I was looking to see I was expecting him to say, for example, 70% of our goals are like mental, and then 20% are actually tactical and 10% physical. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
So it depends on the player, and I love this adaptive approach, and it shows you really the nuance, right, when it comes to this level of tennis now.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of nuance, and top coaches are ready to listen. They want to absorb more information before giving their take, right? Yeah. And I thought that was very interesting to learn.
Yeah, you know, Haroon, when I'm listening to him speak, I'm like, okay, there's a reason that this guy is, first of all, he has his own academy, and he's the head of academy, and he's coaching top players. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting down, like, class is in session. What did you think?
Yeah, exactly. Like like Smile was saying, I thought he's very thoughtful. Like he doesn't go into anything without thinking deeply about it, and every decision he makes, he has to like analyze it and feel it out, and like really explore the entire possibilities and what's best for this player and what's best for this situation, like Smile case by case. I think it felt like he really wants to think about the best option, and almost in an analytical way and in a deep, thoughtful way. Like that's the vibe that came across to me, and that's what separates also like good to great, coaches. You know, and it's not like he's trying to hammer a philosophy or he's trying to hammer. Okay, this is the way we do things. He's more, and that's I guess what his genius and his elite aspect is. Okay, let's try to see what's the best thing for this situation.
Yeah, well, Ismail, then before we go, what did you love most about this conversation? Anything that sticks out?
First of all, I loved what you said about Sampras today. He was hitting bowling balls.
So
like just as my favorite player when I was a young kid, like to hear that is like so cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, like he gave some insights I didn't hear anywhere else, and you heard it only here on the pod when he was talking about Alcaraz was going too much on his first serve against Sinner, that he had to tone it back so he could get positioning in the point. Like, I love that nuance. Like, it's such a tiny, tiny tactical thing, and the average eye is not going to catch that. I didn't catch that.
Of course.
And I consider
you are
myself,
the average eye, though.
Yeah, but I'm hardcore, right? We're hardcore fans. Like, we pick up more than most. Like, some of it's things like we was talking about, like Alcaraz's best level and Sinner. Like, we know a lot of that because we're following so closely, but that I loved. I loved that he said that.
How about you, Haroon? Anything that stood out for you?
Yeah, I like the fact that he's, you know, like Christoph felt like he's one of the people. You know, when he did the Christoph's interview, felt like he said he's a guy you just want to
like a friend.
Yeah, exactly, like a friend, and he's more of a fan, but he's behind the scenes. Like it felt like. He felt like he represents the people more. He represents the crowd. He represents all these, even though he was obviously a great player as well. But and more, Michael was like he's a coach, but at the same time, he's able to enjoy the moments. He's able to see, enjoy things as a fan and watch Alcaraz and watch Sinner. Like, wow, I love the game, and it's so amazing and beautiful to watch. So I like the fact that he wasn't so much, into the coach aspect and like, okay, I'm trying to help you and like just more of work, but he like enjoys the game and loves it, and he's like he's more of like he's connected to you, kind of.
What did you think, Yusuf?
All those were amazing, right? But to me, the thing that stood out, which I felt like, okay, this is something any coach needs to hear, when he talked about the point of building the trust, and I felt like because when you pointed this out, like you told him, I wish my coaches approached it the same way. Like it's such a, he looked at it in a much deeper sense, and he said, I'm not a coach of a player, I'm a coach of a human.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the biggest point. Like, if I'm going to coach, or if someone's coaching me, or I have kids, whatever, like players, that's how you would expect them to approach it, right? You would want to hear that first. And if you don't hear that, that's probably a red flag. So that was the thing that stood out to me most, that I love that he pointed out, because at the end of the day, I'm a human, right? And if you just treat me like a robot, if you don't take into consideration my emotions, my feelings, how I'm going to respond to certain things, then you're not going to get the best out of me, are you? And that was something I love to hear.
Seems that's the theme of great coaches, is that they have to really understand the player and build trust, and it's not just here's the blueprint that I'm gonna give you. It's more of let's build something together.
Let me hammer this in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's a great point you're making, guys, because he spent a lot of time talking about the building the trust.
Yeah,
right?
It was his biggest point.
And it was his biggest point, and it's true, and it's something very critical. I also loved something when you were asking him, Yusuf, about what defines the great players.
Yeah.
And so he said some of the things that I would expect to hear, like how about they have high standards, how they're focused, they're able to persist for a very long time. But there's something that I didn't expect. And he talked about their level of communication to their coaches.
Exactly.
And how they communicate to the coach how they feel, or how they see things, or how they're interpreting things, and how they ask questions.
Yeah. And
it shows you that, the great players are not just about action, it's also about their mind and their inquiry and their ability to communicate. You wouldn't expect...
And their ability to understand themselves, they know themselves very well.
Or at least they're trying to, right? They're trying to know, and they're trying to, and they're trying to get people to problem solve with them. Like they're bringing them in. They're not isolating themselves with these feelings or thoughts, and they want to work on things right away. Like you wouldn't think that communicating to your coach is one of the traits of a great champion, but clearly what Michael is saying is no, actually that is.
Yeah. It's a dynamic that goes back and forth, because like in our minds, it's maybe my coach tells me to do this. This is how it is, but it actually
don't
should
ask questions.
Yeah, don't ask questions, and no, you actually should put a question mark, and you should. How can a coach coach you if you can't express certain things? So,
or if you don't understand, at least
exactly. The fact that they understand, and he said
understand.
they want to come back and work on it right away.
Yeah,
it's just excellence of the highest order.
Yeah, well,
so,
that point.
Figuring out.
Yeah, at that point also Nadal after the matches right away he signals to Carlos Moya, go book the court, and Sinner does it, and all the great players do it.
Yeah, but those were some nice conversations that we had in so many different aspects, from the coaching, from the tour, and from everything, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it.
I think they're going to enjoy it. I think they're going to learn a lot. I feel elevated as a tennis mind. Yeah, like
we gained some IQ.
Yeah,
we gained some IQ.
We definitely gained IQ points today, and I think that's going to hopefully translate into our next pods too.
Of course. I'm learning so much from, and I want to ask him so much more. You know? But the fact that we need to thank him, because he's in the middle of a Grand Slam preparation right now, and he gave us an hour and a half basically of his time. So very grateful for that.
But guys, we need to also, take note of Denis Shapovalov. I think good things are going to happen soon.
Well, if you have someone like Coach Michael in your corner, I think, that's true.
I mean, Michael's taken Monfils to the top of the game, essentially.
As high as he
many
could go. It was so nice. When I asked him, like, do you think Monfils could have done more? And he's like, in a way he was thinking, I feel like, yeah. But at the same time, he's like, no, because of those giants. Giants.
It was a fair answer. It was a fair answer. And I think Tsonga and Monfils even mentioned on somewhere before too. Like, you have to be two of the big three every time. Yeah. In any tournament.
But, you know, it's going back to that for, like, Novak. In the beginning of his career, he had to go through these guys, and it was such a tall task. And now he has these two young guys. Now I have to do this again? Yeah. Again?
Yeah. This Wimbledon is going to be so fun.
But he did give him a chance.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that wraps up another amazing episode of the We're Going 5 podcast. If you enjoyed that, you're really going to enjoy our interview with Coach Christoph Liegen, who had so many cool insights as well about the tour, facing the big three, Rafa and Roger and Novak. And he was quite funny. You're really going to enjoy it. So please check it out and let us know about your thoughts and takes in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.
Have a good night. Good night. Good night. Very good night.